Hi, this is Wesley, and you're listening to In Between the Lines. So, today I have with me someone who I brought back. He was on the Cowboy Bebop episode, if you guys might have heard. It's my good friend, Alan Bartee. How are you doing, Alan?
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm good. I'm just chilling, man.
Cool. So, hey, you want to know something?
Yeah, why not?
So, have you ever watched an anime and it felt like the plot didn't go anywhere?
Yep.
Yeah, me too. So, today we are talking about filler. Specifically, what is filler in general, instead of us diving into only one specific thing.
Yep.
So, do you want to explain what filler is?
Okay, so pretty much how I've seen it is that filler is an episode where if you just skip it, it won't change anything about the plot. It doesn't progress anything. It doesn't change anything. It's just there.
Okay. Yeah, because there have been moments where like I would watch something, and I'd be like really heavily invested into what's going on, and then it gets to a moment where it's just like there's nothing about the actual plot that's involved. The show just takes a different direction, and you're just like,
Hey, everybody, let's pause for just a second.
Like, yeah, you're just like, why? Like, what's going on here? And sometimes it lasts for an episode, and then sometimes it lasts for a long while. Naruto specifically.
Or Dragon Ball.
Yep.
Or Bleach.
True.
One Piece. Ooh, should I not say that? Yeah, the show that's been going on since the 90s and has like how many? Like 900 and something episodes?
Yeah. I feel like I still need to get into that though.
Yeah. I don't know at this point. I don't care.
So, like, are there... I would ask if there's like anything... How should I say this? Is there anything good, and is there anything bad about filler?
I mean, it's the kind of quote-unquote filler that people say where it's just about the characters and they just develop them and how it is. It was like, I remember I was watching Dragon Ball Z Kai. That was the first time I really watched the Dragon Ball Z series. And then I found out later that all it was just an abridged series of Dragon Ball Z, the original, because there was episodes like, if people who watched it, the big anime, like, there's the episodes of where it was just Piccolo and Gohan training.
Yeah.
Where they kind of skipped it throughout one episode, but there were actually multiple episodes leading up to that. And stuff like that, people would bring up and say, well, they really didn't need to skip it in Kai because that's supposed to develop Gohan and Piccolo's relationships.
Yeah.
When Piccolo finally makes that big sacrifice to save Gohan.
Yeah.
Because in Kai, it feels like they just came out of nowhere.
And it was like, because I know what you're talking about, because like when that scene happened in Kai, you're just like, this feels like it came out of left field.
Yeah, because like one of those things where all I've seen was just Piccolo being
maxed out of Gohan.
Yes, being out of Gohan. And to the point it was like, Gohan, no! It's like, wait, where did this come from? But Dragon Ball is really the first time where it really comes to filler, in my opinion, because I remember I watched Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I remember it was when they went to Namek, it was just go to Earth and Namek, and that's it. Yeah. But in the actual original Dragon Ball Z, they went to a fake Namek. Yeah. And they also rented the other spaceship in space.
And they went to like they went to other places, but then but I see why they shortened it to just going to Namek, because if it's them just going to Namek, it cuts down on being like basically, we're just gonna go to all these different places. If you want to get to that certain place, then you're already there.
Yeah. And
I think the first time I ever actually saw filler was when I watched Naruto.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because I remember there was one episode where they spent the entire episode trying to figure out what Kakashi face. And there was one that was like, just have big teeth, just have big lips, and all this kind of stuff. And look, to be fair, it's a funny episode. I really did like it. But then look at the grand thing of things. It's like, this is kind of fun, but we're getting kind of 10 episodes in between this.
But it was weird because, like, I remember I remember I was watching Naruto Shippuden, so
Yeah.
like when he's a teenager, and like it was weird because I was like heavily invested into that plot, and then it suddenly takes a shift to when he's younger, and they're trying to figure out what Kakashi's face looks like, and I'm like, wait a minute, he's a teenager. Why did we go back to him being a kid?
But this starts Shippuden?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well.
And I was like, how, like, why? Like, and it was weird. It was like weird because like they just threw it in there for no apparent reason, and it was like in the middle of like a big fight that was about to happen, and then they were just like filler time, and I'm like, why? Why would you do this?
I've heard the reason why they do that is because, like, anime usually time is based on the manga. But what happens is that it's kind of one of those things, kind of like a Game of Thrones situation, where they're writing the manga at the same time they're doing the anime, but they catch up to the manga, and they have nothing else, so they just pad it out
to basically like give the manga enough time to get ahead, and then they're like, okay, hey, now with more chapters that we can turn into anime now. So yeah, I can see that because that's kind of like what they did with Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah.
Because like when
I know once like Brotherhood. I am once the original.
Because I watched both, and I heard from both sides. Because some people were like, "Don't watch Full Metal, go straight to Brotherhood," and I wanted to know why. And apparently, with the original Full Metal, they were following the manga up to a certain point, and then the manga they didn't have enough. The manga, they caught up to the manga, so then they basically just padded it out and made their own ending. And I was like, okay, I was alright with that. Then you get Brotherhood, and Brotherhood just follows the manga entirely to like the official ending.
And that's why it's better. I mean, I heard when it comes to Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood, I mean, this is a different tangent.
Yeah.
But it was still on the topic of filler versus non-filler, is that in Full Metal Alchemist, there's people who watched it, there's a scene where they spend an entire episode based on a character called Billy the Butcher.
Yeah, yeah.
And they spend all the episode on that, but in the actual show, they kind of don't dwell on that because it's not the focus.
Yeah,
but people prefer kind of that section of Full Metal because it actually gave more development to Ed because it's actually showing the more vulnerable state.
Yeah.
Rather in the Brotherhood, they really don't do that much. And some people feel that because of it not having filler, it actually feels like they're rushing through the story a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I think the reason why, like, they didn't dive that deep into it in Brotherhood is because, like you were saying, like, that's not really, like, the full crutch of it.
Yeah.
It's more like in the background. So like they referenced it, but it's not like, hey, we're gonna give an entire episode, to what's going on in the background.
Yeah.
It's like we want to stay with the Elric brothers. We're gonna stay with them. Yeah. And it's just like, well, I kind of like getting that little downtime, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like then you get to flesh out and see more character development from those other people. Instead of just being, oh, we're just dealing with these people and not these people. It's not like these people aren't important, but we want to deal with the main characters when everyone in that show is kind of basically a main character if you think about it. We'll be back, guys. And we're back.
How you doing, everybody?
Sorry for those interruptions.
What I was about to say is that because you were talking how some people, when it comes, they don't want a whole entire episode focus on filler.
Yeah.
And like for me, it's a thing of like, oh, this is cool, but we really need the entire episode on it. I guess for me, like when it came to, because I remember when on Dragon Ball Z, when they went to different planets before they got to Namek, I found out that was it, just not one episode, but that was several, that they were on that fake planet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like, you could have just done this in one episode.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know why you had to stretch it out.
Yeah.
Because it just feels like more of a mini-series at that point.
Whereas, like, that's why I liked it in Kai, where, like, they sat there and they just condensed it just to be like, hey, we're going to Namek, and then they just started the Namek saga from there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. We don't need, hey, we're going to fake Namek, and then all these other hijinks ensue, and it's just like,
I'm not saying those aren't fun, but Just
don't get me wrong. We have nothing against filler.
No.
Because sometimes I appreciate filler.
Yeah.
Because it's just high action all the time. I'm just okay, I'm kind of getting tired of it. I need something to calm down.
Yeah.
It's just so when you get that filler, you're like, okay, this is a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
For that little brief second to have you process everything that had just happened the day before.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard about filler was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Mm-hmm.
and the episode that people bring up is the Great Divide arc.
The episode. Bossing Say?
No, I forgot what the episode's called. When they go into that giant valley and gorge, those two different societies, one's clean and one's dirty.
Yeah,
and
that was weird.
I mean, I liked it. I really did like the episode when I was younger.
I liked it.
But then I found out people didn't like it that much. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I guess since it wasn't nothing to do with the Fire Nation, that it was just a one-off.
Yeah.
And
the Great Divide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I like that one.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually see it as a filler. I just thought it was just part of the show.
Yeah.
And then
so I looked at the Attack of the Titans. I always want to be on this show.
Yeah.
Oh, my head hurts.
That makes two of us. But
speaking of filler,
this entire episode is filler.
That's the joke.
But I liked because I originally thought that was actually just part of the show itself.
Yeah.
And then I don't know why I thought because I've heard people talk about the Great Divide as being a filler episode.
Yeah.
Or the what was it? Aang having to make the whole zoo place. People said that was filler.
Wait, that was part of what stories about Sing Say?
Yeah, but it was weird because people.
But instead of the next episode, what happened to Appa, and it showed the Iroh dealing with his son. And
that was just because people were like, "Oh, this is just filler," and I'm like,
"But it's a really good episode."
But that's the thing is that people, I don't think most people understand what is considered filler and what isn't. So they just want to label almost anything they see.
People who are like, "Oh, this is filler," but then they're on the line be like, "Man, I wish this character got more character development."
Exactly.
I'm like, it's. Okay.
Yeah, and you're just they did get more character development. You just didn't. Sorry, we're back again. There's been a lot of interruptions lately.
Yeah, I'm just chilling, man.
So, is there anything else about filler that we still need to talk about?
We can just talk about just our favorite types of shows that happen with the filler episodes and everything.
I guess because I dang damn it, now I'm just I guess for me the filler that I like is when it still gives that kind of as an example, I'll use My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
So when they did the whole the whole murder mystery type deal, when it was basically a bank robbery.
Yeah.
And Midnight was there, and All Might was the villain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of stuff like that. Well, because it didn't really progress the plot.
Yeah.
But it was just that downtime to see what all the characters have learned, and then putting them into a new scenario, being hey, if it was a bank robbery that turned into a murder mystery and a whodunit, what do you do?
I feel like that's one of those things where now get topic, should this be part of the show, or just should this be an OVA?
Yeah.
Something to the side, just a short thing that's not part of the actual series.
Yeah.
Because I actually seen some, especially with some shows, I know you know Steven Universe, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Steven Universe had this problem where, because it wasn't aired frequently, every time a new episode would come out and not story related, people would get madder at that episode.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened to Gravity Falls. You ever seen Gravity Falls?
Oh, yeah.
There was
I watched all of Gravity Falls.
Yeah, I think there was one episode where they went on a road trip and Stan met this woman turned out to be an evil spider.
Yeah,
And I remember I really liked that episode, but on the internet, people were angry at this episode. They didn't like the episode because it was during this thing where Disney was during this hiatus with the show, where it would take like months to close to a year until the show came back, and then we finally got an episode. It's not story related, and people were mad. Actual episode, which now that the series is done, I can just watch it as it is, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah. It was never, to me, it was never a big deal to begin with.
Like, it's actually one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was more like one of those suspenseful kind of episodes, too.
Yeah.
That was just like, I remember just seeing that episode and then, like, seeing, like, how the woman was interacting with Stan. I was like, she's a little bit awkward.
If they just put on the spider eyes, I'm like,
Yep, I'm like, that's a no from me. I gotta get out of here.
Not me. Shoot, I'll still be there. Be like, we can still make this work.
We can still make this work.
Yeah, but
that's both of us. You being like, yeah, we can make this work. For me, I'm out of here, Chief. I'll meet you at the car.
Yeah. But then we get into this topic of like, okay, like if I can just binge a show, does the filler even matter at that point?
I mean, sometimes.
Because I guess there's a thing. It's like, oh, I can just skip it if I find this episode not appealing or something.
Yeah. And it's just, and then there's also like still going along with that. There's also the point of like, how do you know when it's filler and how do you know when it's actually part of the show?
Yeah.
Because Naruto basically do the same thing where it's like you have all these all these chronological episodes and then you have no clue where the filler starts and where the filler ends.
And then you have to go on fan websites and be like, hey, all you gotta do is skip episode 50 to 145. And I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, okay, should I just show on that? Because it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, this show has pacing issues, but if you take out these episodes, it really doesn't. So it's at the fault of actual creators or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then sometimes it's just like, when you have like that huge chunk that like, fan sites are like, oh, if you want to get the entire thing, just skip from here to here, and then it just leaves you with maybe I should just watch it in all in order just to like get to
because I've been going because I really do want to get into some that shows like Naruto because I haven't really finished Naruto and other shows, but it's just like but then I see that list of episode 855 and it's like okay, like I don't really have time for this.
Yeah. I guess like now, because like now, like especially with the anime that we have coming out now, you're just
what Boruto?
Well, yeah, Boruto kind of make me a little. It kind of made me a little bit sad at first.
I don't know, like.
Well, the only reason why I said that is because like it started off with a filler episode, like as it's episode 1, like it's in because like with Naruto started off with how the manga started off.
Yeah.
So it already had a good leaping off point. Boruto, on the other hand, I can't speak, Alan.
You're good.
But like from when Boruto started, it started off. It was like, you know what? We're gonna do something completely different. Start straight from scratch and have Boruto be in the Ninja Academy. And I'm just like, okay, but like you could have easily just started off from chapter 1 and then moved onward. And then halfway through, they're like, you know what? We're no longer going to start adapting things from the manga. So then they just started making filler episodes. And now they're starting to adapt things from the manga. And I'm like, you couldn't have did this from the start?
So they do this thing where, because every time I see Boruto, it just looks slice of life to me. It doesn't feel like it has an overall story. It just feels like, okay, I'm just watching just a Naruto kind of stuff, slice of life, which is no problem with that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we're going to turn to our topic of, like, because I've seen some clips of the new Inuyasha show, which is based on not.
Oh, on his kids.
Yeah, and we can have this. That can be a show and a half of talking about how you have these sequel shows, but instead of focusing on the characters growing up, they decided to focus on the next generation of the kids, like you did with Avatar, like you did with Naruto.
Yep.
Like how sometimes they did with Dragon Ball, but it's like one of those things where I would like to focus on Gohan, but people like Goku more, so he's the focus.
Because like, even with that, like we're gonna have to wrap up here.
Yeah, I'm about to wrap up. That's another topic for another day.
But I will say this before we leave: is that like on that topic about Gohan, like when Gohan was teen Gohan, I was all for it. He went Super Saiyan 2. He beat up Cell, and then I was like, "Yo, I see good things in your future."
And then they did this stupid thing where it's like, "Oh no, we need to find Boo's lair, so let's let Gohan's power drain and send him back."
Exactly.
And it was like, you couldn't have just interrogated these guys and beat the crap out of them. You're just gonna let your own son just drain power, get down.
Yeah. And then it got to a point where like he's like,
but now the focus is on Goten and and Trunks. And,
I'm like, you skipped a person.
But now it always goes back to Goku.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, that's another topic for another day of like, it's all about Gohan. Well, no, now it's about Trunks and Goten. Now they're the heroes. Oh wait, they couldn't do it. Now it's about Goku again.
Goku
it's
and
like,
Gohan fused together.
Like, it's kind of like with Team Fortress, I was like, just wait till Goku, and that's it.
Yeah.
Even though I just feel like sometimes they make Goku, you can add that out.
Okay, well, Alan, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, through all the chaos.
Through all the chaos.
It was fun.
Okay, so since we're about to end off, do you want to say, so after I tell everyone thanks for listening, and we hope I really hope you guys have enjoyed listening to us.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe, please.
And stay in tune for the bloopers.
Also, leave a comment. It might help us. I think it will help us out.
I hope so.
So, would you like to say in between the lines together?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to
In Between the Lines.